Good morning, everyone. I am David Willis, the Science Instructional Coach at Lufkin High School, and I am making a training video this morning to show how to take data and export it from Skyward and then copy and paste it into your accommodations data tracking sheet. So just a quick process to make that job easier rather than typing in all of your data from rather than typing it all in, we're just going to export it from Skyward and copy and paste it in. So I think that will be a much better option for us. Let's go ahead and get started. I will move us over to Gradebook and take a look at what we have there. So the first thing you'll need to do is open up your Skyward Gradebook. Here we have the view that you usually see, but we are not going to open an individual gradebook. Instead, we're going to go to Reports for All Classes. Reports for All Classes, and select Class Roster. All right, and once you select Class Roster, you wait for Skyward to, okay, there we go. I guess it's just third time's the charm. So once you select Class Roster, we're going to choose our bottom report template, student name, ID, phone, and advisor. That's actually more information than we need, but it will get us the name and ID number, which is what we're interested in. And we're going to click Export to Excel. So because that'll let us work with it in Excel. When we click that, we're going to give Skyward a moment, and when it says complete and offers to display the report, we'll agree. And when it does, it will download a CSV file, which is a type of Excel file, and you would then double-click this to open up your data. I'm not going to choose that. I'm going to choose a set of fake data that I have in Excel in order to protect the confidentiality of actual students. So this is what your report would look like, though. It's going to have class roster report, and since you downloaded all of your class rosters at once, that's what happens if you do it from that opening page rather than clicking open an individual gradebook. It tells you the period numbers, so there's second period, there's third period, there's fourth period, and all of those are in one data file. Go ahead and choose to save that data file at this point. Save it in your download, save it in your desktop. All right, and then we'll begin doing some deleting. You want to do that so that after you've done the first one, you can then go back and do the rest of your classes without having to re-export your data. All right, so I want to get down to just the last name, first name, middle initial, and student ID. So I'm going to delete all the extraneous data. There we go. Choose delete for those. I'm now going to choose delete for the rest of the sheet. This is why we saved it in advance. Right click, choose delete. And we really don't need the phone number and the advisor, so again, right click, delete. And now we're down to just the student ID and the last name, first name, and middle initial. However, we need those to be in separate columns and not all in one column. So what we're going to do is we're going to select student ID, right click, and choose insert, and it will insert a column to the left. And we're going to do that 2 more times so that we can have 3 blank columns. 3 will be plenty. You actually might need 4, but if you have a junior in there, you might need 4. But so put a 4th if you like. Won't hurt. Okay, so now we've got more than enough, and I'm actually going to go ahead and have us put 1 blank column to the left of the name column as well, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So at this point, we're ready to separate our data. So we're going to select that column. We're going to come up here to the Data tab, choose the Data tab, and then come over here to the Text to Columns button. Text to Columns lets us split one column of data into multiple columns of data. So I'm going to choose to do that. I'm going to leave this at delimited because it is broken up by some common indicator, in this case commas and spaces. So next, and then I don't want to use tabs as the delimiter. I want to use commas and spaces. and I'm going to leave treat consecutive delimiters as 1 highlighted. And then I'm going to choose finish. All right, and so when it did that, it separated everything out. You see that 2 of them are further over than the rest, and that lets you, and also these are clearly middle initials, but they're not in the middle initial category. That lets us know that something interesting happened in here. And here's what it is. This person's first name was Deja, D-E-J-A, with a space in between. So what I'm going to do is just click in there and type that in. I'm not going to worry about capitalization. And let's see, so that takes care of that one. This one also, again, well, in this case it looks like we had a last name that that needed to be, that had a space in between it. And so then I'll come over here and put the first name also. All right, so I've got our last name and first name fixed for the 2 that were overflowing, and so we know that we're good to go now. I do not need any longer the middle initial or the extra blank columns, so right-click delete. And now I happen to know that on my data sheet I have student ID in front of the last name and the first name. So I'm going to hover over the border until it turns into my four-headed arrow, and then I will click and drag the student ID number into that blank column. All right, so now I've got my student ID, my last name, and my first name, and I'm ready to paste this in. So I will highlight just the data, not the header. And I'm going to choose Control-C. You could also right-click and choose Copy. So now that I've selected that, I'm going to go to my, let's come back here, and I'm going to choose my data sheet. Here's my accommodations data tracking sheet. I'm going to click in the upper leftmost cell, and I'm going to choose Control-V or right-click and Control-Paste. And you see that it pastes it in there. When it did that, it took away all my nifty little dividing lines, so I'm just going to come over here to Borders, click Borders, and reestablish those, all borders. Yes, put them all in there, please. All right, and now that I've done that, everything is set, and we're ready to choose our accommodations from our gradebook or from our paperwork that we have handy. All right, so that's how we do that to not have to type, and it will go pretty quickly once you just get in there and start clicking. All right, you'll repeat that process from your saved CSV file for your remaining classes, and that will take care of your data entry. All right, I hope that was helpful, and have a great year. Thank you.